All right, everyone. CNN coming out with another article, basically about the upcoming 2020 election. They're like, well, Trump's strategy to win might work, but it probably won't. This is almost an admission on their part that it's likely that he will be. This is some fucking psychological, some subconscious bullshit. Because you've got to realize CNN and all of these other groups, for the most part, they're like, Trump is 10 points behind in this poll. Trump is behind every Dem candidate. Oh, the wheels are falling off the bus before it even gets started. And they've been doing this since before the last election. They're like, well, there's basically no chance of Trump. Hillary Clinton's a shoo-in. Remember Huffington Post and the New York Times declaring there's like a 99% chance of a Clinton presidency? I went into that election night like laughing my ass off, and I'm probably going to go into 2020 laughing my ass off. Because if all metrics remain similar, if the trajectory continues as is today, the Dem candidate will either have veered off a cliff going far left to win the nomination and will no longer be electable, or it'll be a boring neo-lib like basically Biden, who is incapable of challenging Trump because of his own problems, namely his age, his gaffe-prone sort of situation, and the fact that he won't have riled up the far-left voter base, which means there won't be turnout enough to beat Trump. That's what I expect. I don't see many situations in which the Democrats can overcome the unique set of problems that they currently have. Trump's operative strategy is quite simple. Trump's strategy is to keep the left extremely inflamed. And here's what he hopes to accomplish by that. You inflame the left, they will turn around and talk to the DNC. Now, the far left does not control the Democratic Party. They by far, the Democrats, their fundraising apparatus is mostly a bunch of neoliberals, and in some cases people who aren't really political, they're in it for the money, the corporatists. Those are the people that control the party. Nancy Pelosi is in turn in league with them. They turn around and they say, because they're ideologues, Orange man bad, you must impeach, you must rebuke, you must let us have a press conference and stand there and pretend to be our friend, Ms. Pelosi. When that happens, AOC and Ilhan Omar and all of these other losers within the party, these are losers, they have low popularity even in their own districts, let alone on a national scale. They're trying to be federal level politicians without even bothering to represent the people in their own constituencies, and they're making life hard for the neoliberals. They get up there and say crazy shit and talk about banning cow farts and how great socialism is, and then Trump sits back and laughs. Because what he's done is he antagonizes this tiny minority of the party, but he amplifies them and makes them the face of the party, number one, and then they make promises to their constituents like, we're going to destroy Orange Man. And then they go forward, they try to get impeachment. They can't even get a vote passed to debate on impeachment. Half the Democrats voted against it, which makes them look as well quite weak, but it also makes the Dems at large look like a schismatic movement. It makes them look inept. It makes the party leadership look inept. If you're a far leftist, you look at Pelosi or something, you say, man, why can't she just get off her ass and impeach already? Isn't it obvious that Orange Man racist, Orange Man mean? This is impeachable. AOC told me so. If you're a business Dem, you probably look at the Democrats, and you're probably like, wow, the party's really moving far to the left. I'm getting a little bit concerned here. Trump is going to keep it up. That operative strategy has worked. His approval, the latest approval polls, admittedly before his mean racist tweets, were the highest of his presidency. Two different polls. I think it was NBC showed him at 48. I think before 47 was the highest that they had showed him at. And then Rasmussen showed him at 50. That's, his aggregated poll numbers are inching up towards that so-called magic 47. Now, I've said, it is very likely he'll take a hit in popularity because of these tweets, because of the rigmarole surrounding it, because of a semi-successful attack by Democrats to label him racist or bigoted. He will recover thereafter, like he always has before. Because if a person really cares about mean tweets or subjective claims of bigotry, they already aren't a Trump supporter. But there will be people who already don't support Trump, soft opposed to Trump, people including center leftists, that are probably not going to vote Democrat in the following election. And that's why his strategy works. Because the Democrats look like they are either exceptionally weak and boring or exceptionally far to the left, there are voting blocks that would normally sort of swallow the Democrat, like as a bitter pill. They're like, well, I can tolerate this. It's not great. The Democrats kind of suck, but they're better than the alternative. They're going to be looking at a Trump that will probably act quite presidential and demure for the last few months of the campaign. They're going to judge him. They're going to judge tax reform, a good economy, his overall demeanor against a frenetic far-left part of the Democratic Party, if Trump gets his way. And if he doesn't get his way, then he'll be fighting off some boring neoliberal who at the very least has no specific advantage, will be older than Trump is, will be less well-spoken than Trump is, will not have reigned over a booming economy. That pretty much seals the deal. CNN doesn't see this because if you look at some of these analysts, they focus on these moral tirades that they have, and they talk about, well, racism, Americans will reject his bigotry. There's no bigotry to reject. Ultimately, Americans are going to vote with their wallet most of the time anyway. That's the way people tend to be. There's no particular reason. Nobody benefits from the Democrats' fiscal plans. All of their health care, Biden and Sanders can't leave the issue alone. They still keep attacking one another. Biden comes out and is like, oh, no, I can't guarantee you'll be able to keep your doctor under my health care reform, which is basically ACA 2.0. Sanders guarantees you won't be able to. The government will match you up with whoever the fuck it wants because he's a socialist. And it's funny, some people are still some leftists still try to claim Sanders isn't a socialist. Well then, so if he calls himself the same fucking thing for 50 years, I guess what point do you just take him seriously? Whether he's got some purist socialist mentality, my stateless communism, it doesn't matter. He's a socialist, dude. Get over it. He's also a fucking loser. A fucking aging embarrassment. Thank goodness he's slipping to fourth in the polls. He's going to slip below Kamala Harris if he's not careful. At the very least, he slipped to third. Thank goodness. Yeah, our country dodging another bullet because the DNC at the very least has the power left, even in a schismatic situation, to make sure to schlong Bernie Sanders. Fuck Bernie Sanders. And fuck all politicians. That's about all. Peace out.